It's Bobby Biggs. I'm back, and you're listening to episode 4 of the Bobby BiggerCast. This is a pretty cool episode. I talk with the owner of Silk City Hot Sauce, and obviously, if you're a fan of mine, you know Silk City Hot Sauce is the sponsor of this podcast and my other podcast, The G Hole with Ray DeVito. And Jeff Levine is the owner of Silk City Hot Sauce. And I got to talk to him, and we talked about how he got into the hot sauce business, how he makes his hot sauce. It's very interesting if you're into hot sauce. And we know since I'm fat and I like food, perfect sponsor for me. And I think this is a very interesting episode, getting to hear all the ins and outs of the hot sauce business. And I hope you guys enjoy it. I know I did. And remember, as always, go to silkcityhotsauce.com. They are our sponsor. Put in code word BIGGS, B-I-G-G-S, and get 15% off any order you place. And be sure and try the Bobby Biggs Chipotle, obviously, named after yours truly. And thanks a lot for being here, guys. And I hope you enjoy this episode. This was a lot of fun, actually. Hope you enjoy. Thanks. How's it going, man?
Good. What's up, Bob? Thanks for having me on your show.
Yeah, no problem. This will be episode 4 of the Bobby BiggerCast. I'm here with the president, CEO, man who loves hot sauce. You know him from as my main sponsor from Silk City Hot Sauce, Jeff Levine.
Hey, everybody. Everyone out there in podcast land, it's Jeff here, Silk City Hot Sauce.
What is it, Levinsky's Fine Foods?
The name of the company itself is Levinsky's Top Shelf.
Levinsky's Top Shelf.
Foods. Top Shelf.
Right. And you type in silkcityhotsauce.com. Remember, folks, go to silkcityhotsauce.com. Order any of his hot sauces, especially the Bobby Biggs Chipotle, and get 15% off with code word BIGGS, B-I-G-G-S.
In addition to 15% off, I'm going to send every big fan an additional bottle of hot sauce for free.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, my girlfriend was telling me she got a couple extra bottles of that of your cherry. What is it? Cherry Sriracha.
The cherry Sriracha. Yeah, I've been giving everybody that because it's a unique flavor that was invented as kind of as a joke. People always come over to my booth at the flea market or the farmer's market, and they're always like, "Hey, I put hot sauce on everything except for ice cream." I was like, "Fuck you! I'll make one for your ice cream." So that's what the cherry Sriracha is all about. It's red jalapenos with maraschino cherries, so it actually tastes like ice cream topping with a kick.
Yeah, Mike. When I visit, I'll definitely. I don't have any, but when I'm going to Houston next Thursday, so when I go there, I'll try some of my girlfriend's because she's got a bunch of bottles that were as a. Well, I don't know if it matters that I'm fat, but the cherry Sriracha. What is the deal with? Isn't Sriracha its own brand of hot sauce? Or is that a word that you? I mean, obviously, because I've seen it on. You're not the only. I thought Sriracha was a brand. Is it not a brand per se?
It's not a brand. It's named after, I think, a town in Thailand. I looked it up.
Because the one bottle you see at Chinese, at Asian restaurants with the rooster on it. Yeah.
I mean, that guy put Sriracha on the map. I mean, that guy has been like making so much Sriracha. They shut his plant down a few years ago for a few days because the whole town reeked like peppers and garlic.
Oh, wow.
So they actually shut him down and I think made him.
I can't say if I think that's bad until I actually smelled it.
Yeah, I know. It sounds like fun, but that guy put Sriracha on the map for sure. And kind of created like a Sriracha boom of the mid 2000s.
So is Sriracha, is that a style of hot sauce? Is it it's not a brand? Is it a brand? I mean, I don't know. Am I asking the wrong question?
No, it's not a brand. It's definitely a style.
It's like a flavor?
It's a style, it's a flavor, it's a medium heat sauce with like it varies. Different companies, different brands use different peppers. I think they use Fresno peppers in the sauce that you're talking about with the rooster on the bottle.
Okay.
They use Fresno, which is a medium heat, thin skinned red pepper. But typically Sriracha is that style pepper, garlic, and usually they're fermented. Mine has none of those qualities. So Sriracha is probably, I mean, I wanted to jump on the Sriracha bandwagon for that particular sauce.
Okay.
So I called it cherry Sriracha. Shame on me for seriously. I should have called it the Shirley's Temple, because it's like closer in flavor.
I think Sriracha is probably a better name than calling it the Shirley Temple hot sauce.
Yeah, it's the one sauce that when people come to my booth, I'm like, this one's a gimmick. All the rest are legit.
Well, right, but you still put the equal amount of heart and work into it, right? I mean, it's still a quality hot sauce.
Oh, for sure. The cherry Sriracha is awesome. It just isn't what people. It's just not what people expect. A, when they're looking for Sriracha, and B, I'm not sure if there's a B, but it's not your typical Sriracha.
I got you.
It has a sweet cherry flavor. It's delicious. So.
Okay. Well, I probably jumped ahead a little bit. Let's start with how did you get into the hot sauce business? This is going to be all about you, Jeff.
Oh, right on.
You and your hot sauce, because I'm a hot sauce fan.
I know, and that's why. I mean, I initially like glommed on to your shows and was like, this guy's all right. He loves hot sauce, and but as far as hot sauce in my life, it goes way back. I'm in my 40s. I can remember loving hot sauce when I was 5 years old, and just always like going for Tabasco sauce and like pouring it on food at home.
Man, if you start with Tabasco sauce, then everything else has got to seem like nothing.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it was just like, it just seemed like ubiquitous. It was everywhere. Tabasco was, I always loved it. And I never thought of myself as like a pepperhead. I mean, there's so many names for people these days that love hot sauce, but I always liked it. And growing up where I did, there was a cool town like a half an hour away from where I lived called New Hope. And it was like an old school hot sauce store in New Hope, Pennsylvania. It's like a Delaware River town with like cool shops and stuff. And there was an old hot sauce store there called Susie's. When I was in high school, I used to go into Susie's and buy all her hottest shit, like hot peanuts dipped in like cayenne pepper sauce and dried, so the peanuts were like really spicy. She used to take pictures of her customers that used to buy the hottest stuff and put us on the wall of flame. So I was up there.
Oh wow! So you've always been a fan of hot sauce. How did you end up, making your own? I know your grandfather or somebody had this Levinsky top shelf, right?
Well, no, I mean,
I might be jumping ahead.
Yeah, I mean, Levinsky's is the family name. But as far as like going into business for myself, like everyone in my life goes into business for themselves. My father peddled everything. We used to travel around the country peddling comic books and memorabilia, all kinds of stuff, magazines, every weekend from when I was like 3 years old, all the way through high school. We used to hop in the family truckster and drive from New Jersey to New York, Pennsylvania, Baltimore, Chicago, San Diego, peddling stuff. So that's all I knew was hopping in the truckster, going somewhere and peddling stuff.
So when did you decide to say, I'm going into hot sauce business?
5 years ago, I moved. I'd been living in Vermont for a couple of years, and started like driving around and visiting all the different cool little farm stores and cheese shops and everything. And there's like an abundance of mom and pop businesses up here. There's not a lot of other jobs up here, but it seems like everyone in Vermont has like their own little cottage business. And I thought, well, that's cool. So I had some friends at a farm down here, the Duttons. Shout out to Dutton Farm in Newfane. And these guys are awesome. They're like the 5th generation Vermont farm. And I got talking to one of their sons, George, about peppers. I was like, "You guys grow peppers?" Because I just thought, like, maybe I'll get into the hot sauce game. And he said, "Yeah, we grow jalapenos and long hots, and serranos and Santa Fe's, which look like jalapenos, but they're like a sunburst color, like a Gibson Les Paul." And
Okay.
I said, "Oh, that's interesting." So what did I do next? I think I started calling around like different commercial kitchens in Vermont and finding out like what the logistics were. Like, how does a guy go down to the farm, get peppers, and turn it into sauce? I met this one guy, Kevin, who'd been in the industry for a long time. He worked for Ben and Jerry's 20 years ago and helped get their facility up and running.
Oh, wow.
So that guy was good. Resource. And he explained to me, well, to process peppers and make sauce, you need to like get the ingredients and we'll bring them all down here to the kitchen, and we need to get it to a certain pH, and then there's all this bottling equipment that's all like looks like the Willy Wonka in the Chocolate Factory, which I think plays a role as well, because I was obsessed with that movie, especially the part where he was like mixing up all the ingredients.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
When he was out riding the bike and mixing everything up, I think somewhere deep down, it was like, I want to be Willy Wonka when I grow up. People
should know if they eat too much of the Bobby Biggs Chipotle, they will turn into a big fat Chipotle pepper.
So I'll take your word for it. So now I've got like a guy that grows peppers, and I've got a guy that has a kitchen with all the like Wonka equipment and filling machines and all that jazz. And so then I had to go. The guy told me to like go home and start working on my recipes, and I did for like a year. Just sat home and just mixing up peppers and other fresh ingredients like carrots and fresh roasted garlic and roasted onions and apple cider vinegar, maple syrup. If I thought it would taste better with that.
That was probably, was that fun experimenting and trying? I mean, did you try some stuff and you were like, there had to be some where you were like, oh, okay, this isn't going to work. Don't add that.
Yeah.
That had to be fun doing that experimentation process.
Yeah, the back room looked like a laboratory with like thousands of bottles, and sometimes too much salt just can ruin an entire batch. And I thought maybe like Coca-Cola would make hot sauce taste good. I mean, they nailed it, right? But all that stuff's crazy. All that stuff's wacky. But
you tried making a hot sauce and adding Coke to it.
I mean, I was throwing everything in there.
Yeah. No, when I make my chili, I put, believe me, I've put all different kinds of chocolate. I've put different sodas. Yeah. I mean, I've tried a whole bunch of things, so I can see that. And
that's a good point. I mean, adding chocolate. I mean, when you read about the old Aztecs and Mayans in Central and South America, you're totally right. They used to drink concoctions with chocolate and cayenne peppers, and I think they used to ferment it and get wild on those concoctions.
Yeah, you can buy like spicy chocolate.
So there's no doubt I delved into the history of spices and peppers, and threw a huge globe map, like a flat Earth map, on my wall, and got all the old books on the history, like I said, of the old spice trade routes, which inevitably turned into finding America and the peppers, which is where they come from.
Right.
And then the whole world just started trading peppers and spices like baseball cards back in the, I guess, 1500s. But all that stuff's interesting, which kind of plays a role in the name Silk City. Just as a side note, Silk City is named after Paterson, New Jersey, where my grandparents on both sides of my family are from. You know, as far as just one generation or two generations back. Before that, we were all over the place in Europe. But it's Silk City is pays homage to both like my roots of Paterson, New Jersey, and the old silk trade roots from hundreds of years ago when Arabs and Europeans were trading silks and spices and jewels and all that shit.
How does Silk City relate to your parents? I think I missed something.
Oh yeah, Silk City is the code name for Paterson, New Jersey. Not code name. It's the
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that makes sense. What was the? I mean, I know you. I mean, how many hot sauces do you produce? It's got to be
right now. Yeah, right now I'm making 8-9 different flavors. I think there's 9 total.
What was the first one you made? If you even still.
The first one I made, I'm actually technically out of it, and it's kind of on hiatus at the moment. But the first sauce that I ever bottled was called the Carrot Apple Zinger.
Carrot Apple Zinger.
Yeah, and it combined fresh carrots, fresh garlic, jalapenos, and one secret ingredient, which I'll share with everyone because it's on the label anyways. But there's an apple orchard not far from here that boiled their apple cider down into a thick syrup, like maple.
Okay.
So in addition to the carrots, garlic, jalapenos, and apple cider vinegar, I poured a healthy amount of this like real thick, sweet apple cider syrup.
Okay.
Which combined with the jalapenos and the carrots and all that stuff, it was awesome. Really awesome. But I'm actually technically out of it right now because the orchard that I get that stuff from has had a bad apple crop for the this year, and they were out of their syrup from last year. So believe it or not, these recipes are dependent on orchards, and they're
it's probably dependent on local produce, right? Don't you buy? I mean, I'm assuming you get all your stuff probably locally, right?
Yeah, Bob, and that's just it, man. When I got into this, I thought everybody gets their peppers and their apple cider syrup and their garlic and all that stuff locally, or at least fresh. Not the case.
Really?
Yeah, let's talk some shit. And I won't name any names, but I was blown away. The kitchen that I first started producing my sauce at help other companies as well produce their products.
Okay.
And besides me, he was helping a salsa company out and a couple different drinks. But there was another hot sauce guy there, and I'm not going to mention the brand's name, but it's pretty well known in Vermont. I mean, it's like on all the shelves and all the like local stores and all that stuff.
Okay.
And I was just kind of peeking around the storeroom and kind of seeing what everybody was using for as far as their ingredients and stuff. And there was like these big 55-gallon like oil drums, and there was like his section was labeled the name of that hot sauce company. And I was like, "What? Hey, Kevin, what's that? What are those drums? Those oil drums?" He's like, "Oh, that's pepper mash from Louisiana. That's what we heat up and turn into fill in the blank hot sauce company." I'm like, "Wait a minute,
okay.
That's their sauce? What is that?" And he's like, "Oh, that's just 55-gallon drums of pepper shit, basically just mashed up, liquefied, salty."
Is that basically their whole sauce, or do they add stuff to it?
Yeah, water and some salt if it needs it.
Oh, wow! So they're not even really making it, so to speak.
No, that's it. You add some like couple of gallons of water to thin it out even more.
Wow.
Xanthan gum, which that ingredient on.
I've heard of it. Yeah, I've heard of it and obviously seen it, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah, a little behind the scenes, xanthan gum with an X
Please, that's why I have you on here. I want all this.
Yeah.
Yeah, we won't name names, but I want to hit all the inside information. We've got to make this interesting.
Yeah, we don't use xanthan gum. I've seen it in action. Silk City uses all fresh, farm-grown peppers, fresh garlic, roasted onions, all that good stuff. You can taste it in the sauce, right? Xanthan gum is this powder. It looks like any other white powder that I'm sure you've seen in a club time or two, but it's used as it's like booger. It turns into makes water into a booger.
So is it like a thickener or something?
That's a better word for it. It's a thickener. And
okay.
It makes a watery sauce, a watered down sauce. Pour with like a nice viscous texture. So that's the secret of xanthan gum.
Oh, wow.
And anytime you see it, they put it in there because it's very watery. But in order to get a good thickness, you can use xanthan gum, and there's other thickeners they use too, but that's one of the main ones. So
do you get all your ingredients from just Vermont or from around Vermont? I mean, I don't know.
For the most part, I get all my peppers from Vermont, except me and my buddy Richie are actually going pepper picking at a farm just over the border in New York.
I mean, I guess State. It doesn't matter if it's in Vermont. I just meant you sure. You actually get all the stuff, or I mean, do you and maybe a buddy go pick up the stuff? Do you have it delivered to you? I mean,
yeah, I usually
do they ship it to you? I mean, I don't know how much you're looking at. I know you got a big Suburban.
Yeah. The Suburban's great for driving down to Restaurant Depot and picking up like bulk ingredients like apple cider vinegar and stuff like that, like bags of salt if I need stuff like that.
Well, sure, yeah. No, you're not buying your salt. You're not buying your salt from a locally sourced salt maker in Vermont.
I fly right. Yeah, exactly. I don't fly into the into
you go
Israel
chip it off of a mountain or something.
Yeah, the Dead Sea. Just go for a swim and just
wherever salt comes
flake
from.
It off my body. Yeah, I don't even. Yeah, no, it's all that stuff comes from like your regular straight up bulk food stores.
Well, I mean, even if you're going to the grocery store and buying peppers, you're still. I mean, if you're buying fresh peppers, that's the distinction I'm trying to make here. Is that when I say like locally sourced, you're still buying fresh stuff. And making it yourself.
Yeah. Even if, like you said, that's so true. Even if I went to the grocery store and bought fresh peppers, we could do that. But yeah, for the most part, I'm getting like literally just boxes of.
Are you going to the farms?
Yeah, for the last year and this year, 2 years ago, I was having the peppers shipped to me from the farm, but. Now I just I enjoy going down there and seeing what the farmer has. I mean,
sure,
it gives like a whole new level of product or quality control. George the farmer literally takes me into his like cold storage just inside of his barn and allows me to go through the harvest.
Yeah, that's great.
And show me what he's got.
Right. I know you sell a lot online, but you go to farmers markets. You ever go to, I would assume there's have to have been sometimes when you're at farmers markets and you're seeing somebody selling peppers and you're like, oh, let me check out their peppers. You ever like been at a farmers market where you're selling your hot sauce and then been like, ooh, I haven't seen these peppers before or something, or bought somebody else's peppers at not somebody else's, but just something you saw at a farmers market, because they're obviously bringing
Definitely.
Their crops.
Absolutely. 2 nights ago, I just drove up to this lady's house who I met at a strawberry festival 2 years ago. That's the cool thing about Vermont. It was like from like June through Columbus Day, there's strawberry festivals and apple festivals and corn festivals and beer festivals and cheese festivals and all that stuff. I mean, all my comrades all, get recruited to go and set up our booths and accommodate.
It's a shame. It's a shame all that shit's fucked up now.
It's totally fucked up.
I know you're still going to the farmers markets, but I can only imagine that's smaller. But anyway, I'm sorry. Well, that's
yeah. All the other events have been canceled, but God bless the flea market. Holy shit. But yeah, so like two years ago, I was set up at a strawberry festival at an orchard in Springfield, Vermont, and one of my fellow vendors came over, and we were just talking about all kinds of stuff. And they took my number, and she called me last week and said, "Hey, we have like this amazing crop of the most beautiful red habaneros." So I said, "Great. Can I come pick them up?" She says, "Yeah." So two nights ago, I drove up, and sure enough, and that's rare in Vermont this early or this late. Red habaneros are tough to get in Vermont. There's just not enough sunny days to ripen a habanero to get a beautifully red habanero. But she accomplished it this year.
Let me ask you this: when you go, so when that person calls you up and says, "Hey, we got these," and you like went to her farm and checked them out, do you actually like cut them open and look at them and try them, and do you actually like taste them? I realize like they're going to be different when they're turned into a sauce, but
yeah, as a matter of fact, she was cooking some on her own stove for her own personal sauce stash, and said, "Here, try this." So I just took a little swill of what she was cooking, and they're hot. They're really hot. They're really tasty, very floral, and has that classic habanero, just real brightness to them. So I just loaded them up in the back of like you said, my Suburban, and drove them to my friend Richie's, who I rent cold storage from.
Oh, okay. I had some. Last time I was in Houston, I was at the grocery store with my girlfriend, and I bought a bottle of. This is kind of stupid, but it was Buffalo Wild Wings mango habanero wing sauce, and it's really fucking hot. Like I don't like hot stuff, and for some reason I guess I thought it was going to be more mango-y, and I had some yesterday. It wasn't on chicken wings; it was just on something else. But god damn, it was so fucking hot, and I was like, God, this fucking habanero stuff.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Hot sauce doesn't have to be stupid hot to be good, and unfortunately, there's like this craze for hotter and hotter and hotter and hotter and hotter and hotter hot sauces. Growing up and liking hot sauce, I never like yearned to like keel over in the fetal position, and go, oh yeah, this is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, when you and I sauce. Yeah, when you and I first started talking about hot sauce, I remember saying, and then when you even said when we discussed you bringing back your Chipotle and put me on the label and naming it after me, I was like, you were showing me like your other labels that had like the small bottles that have the dragon. And I'm like, a lot of hot sauces, I go, you go to the grocery store or any sort of, any stores that have hot sauce, and you'll just see where I think people are just like, all right, we want to make a hot sauce. What are we going to put in it? I don't know, whatever just makes it hot. And we're going to have some sort of a skull or skull and crossbones on the label. Like that's like the majority of hot sauces you see these, if you want to call them the craft hot sauces. And it's just like, okay, we get it. But there has to be something more to it than just being hot. Unless you're just trying to win a contest and obviously somebody has the hottest one in the world. I don't know. But so when you were like showing me the different, it's like, yeah, you got a dragon as kind of your logo, but it's not a dragon torching a village of people on the, you know what I mean? Like there probably is something like that. There probably is some hot sauce logo where it's got like a dragon just, burning people alive on the logo. Like, okay, I get it. It's supposed to be hot, but this, even though it's a dragon, which shoots fire, which lets you know that it's a hot sauce, but it's not, like I said, the dragon isn't a skull dragon.
Yeah. The dragon, and the dragon's like sort of like peeking out of like the shape of a pepper. So, like when you're designing these, that's a whole nother side of this whole business is like making that little tiny 2-inch by 1-inch rectangular section of the label appeal to people in like a billionth of a second when they're walking down the stupid grocery store aisle.
Yeah.
So that's like a whole side of this business that's really annoying and it's it's super complicated, and I've changed my label a couple of times because you always second guess yourself because you feel like, oh, did I overemphasize how hot it was and scare people away, or did I not even attract
I can
them
only
at
imagine.
all?
Yeah, very difficult.
It's such a pain in the butt. But that was back when I was like more concerned with like getting on grocery store shelves and being like in every like regular grocery store in my area.
Right.
I've changed my mindset because that's not who we are, and that's not who we can accommodate. Making sauce with fresh ingredients. It costs, like, for example, it costs me.
What if Wegmans came? Somebody with Wegmans saw your thing and they were like, Wegmans is a Northeast huge grocery chain for people that don't. I got a lot of fans, obviously, in Texas, and they don't know what a fucking Wegmans is. It's where they caught that guy Robert Durst. if you know who that guy is, the rich guy that killed a guy in Galveston, Texas, but he was
Wegmans?
rich. He got caught in a Wegmans, like dressed like a woman.
He did at Wegmans? I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's where he got caught.
Funny. I didn't.
And then he was tried in Houston for he killed a guy and cut him up. He only got in trouble for cutting him up. They couldn't say that he killed him because they didn't have his head or his hands.
And you put him in the hot sauce?
No, this doesn't have anything to do with hot sauce. I was just saying that I was trying to tell people what Wegmans was and then relating to this story. But let's say, so forget all that.
I didn't know that.
So let's say Wegmans comes to you and says, hey, we want Silk City hot sauce. And if not all of our stores, let's say, all right, we want Silk City hot sauce in all your stores. Can you do that? Would you do that? I mean,
I'd say sure. I'd be interested in dealing with you, Mr. Wegman. But this is what it costs, and they're going to come back to me and say, "Well, that's too much." I'm going to say, "Well, I'm sorry. That's what it costs." Because I buy
because you don't make 1 million bottles.
I'm not buying 55-gallon drums of pepper shit and watering it down and making sauce. That's how those sauces become nationwide when it costs like pennies to make
a
bottle, and they could sell it to a grocery store for 22 cents, and they could sell it for $2.39, and then they can put it on sale for $1. It costs more than that. It costs you more than that just to make it.
Yeah.
So that's getting into that, like that whole world of like selling into grocery stores and being like on trucks and distributed all over the place. It used to be like a pipe dream 5 years ago. I thought, oh, that's the end goal. But once I got my feet on the ground and started, selling like in both, like at farmers markets and to distributors, like, because you could find distributors online. Just Google food distributor who sells to grocery stores, and you can find these guys and call them up and work out a deal with them. And it's just a really big, it's major pain in the butt because they just want you to sell to them for cheaper. And at the end of the day, it just run guys like me out of business. If it's my goal to be on that shelf, I mean, I just basically sell to them for less than what it cost me to make it. So at this point, I'm satisfied with selling directly to podcast listeners and farmers market consumers. Last year we went and set up at a pinball convention. It was the fucking best. It was like 4 days of pinball, day and night. It was like the one convention that we've done that didn't close at the end of the day. They kept the pinball room open all night. There was a bar, and the guys were getting freaking loaded. It was incredible, and I stayed open all night. I barely slept for 4 days. Guys were coming up and buying hot sauce at like 3 o'clock in the morning, going back into the free play pinball room. And by the way, there was a company unveiling their 2019 brand new pinball machine with Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory theme. It was awesome. It had like computer graphics like built into the main board.
You told me about that before. Didn't you say the guy that was the guy that played Charlie Buckets there? Yeah,
Charlie was there, Mike TV and Veruca Salt. And it was incredible. They came over, because they were there to like support the pinball machine, but they were walking around and like checking out all the
Can you
different.
post a picture with Charlie?
Yeah. So Peter
on your Instagram or something.
Yeah. So Peter Ostrom, who played Charlie, came over to my booth, and I was like awestruck, I guess.
Yeah.
Because I think I watched that movie like probably like 1,000 times.
And was this just last year?
This was just last year. And he came over and he was like the same size. He's one of those childhood actors that I don't know if they give those kids like an anti-hormonal treatment when they're kids.
It's amazing how much of them don't grow very much.
Yeah, he didn't grow. And he was such a sweet boy, just like he was in the movie, but he was a grown man. And he actually was a fan of hot sauce and said his son was too. So I hooked Charlie up, but I told him that when we brought home our dog 3 years ago, we named him Charlie because he had this really sad look on his face, and he reminded us of Charlie Bucket, just a sad boy. And he said, "Where is he?" And I said, "He's in the motel room because he was with us. You met Charlie."
Yeah.
And he said, "Well, go get him." So my wife Enid stayed at the booth, and I ran over to the motel, grabbed Charlie, brought him back, and got a picture of Charlie Bucket and Charlie Bucket, the dog.
That's great.
It's the best. So that's a hot sauce business I'd rather be in than like wheeling and dealing with Wegmans.
Well, yeah, it sounds like even if Wegmans did come to you, you'd almost have to have somebody. Then you would have to have like an investor to give you money to where you could meet their demand. To meet like if Walmart comes to somebody, you can't just go to Walmart and say, "Here, sell my." I mean, maybe they do regional. There's probably regional stuff, but if you were like, "We're going to put this in all our Walmarts," and you'd be like, "I can't fucking make that. Now I got to have somebody who's going to invest in my company to give me, so I can do if you wanted to do that."
Exactly, and I feel like that's going to take all the fun out of making hot sauce.
I mean, it would probably be nice if somebody was like, I want to put $1 million into your company. Yeah. You might think about it, but yeah, I see what you're saying from more of there's got to be nothing better than a hands-on approach of something you love to do. And then to actually see your product. I mean, it's almost like, I think this is a decent comparison of like, as a comic, writing a joke, and it started here, it goes to here, I finish it, and then I perform it. You're getting all your supplies, you're putting it all together, you're turning it into a hot sauce, and then you see its final product, and it's, in its bottle with the label on it.
It's an awesome comparison. It feels a lot like that. It's the process, starts in your head. Sometimes I'm walking down the street, or sometimes I'm like, anywhere. I'd be watching a movie and like a sauce idea comes to me, or anything along those lines. And it is exactly like that. You just kind of watch the process, and then I mean, take it even one step further. And like, I'm on the phone talking to you right now. You make me laugh, and you like Chipotle. So we reached out, we've made a hot sauce together with you on the label. So like, to me, that's more fun and more interesting and more fulfilling than going on the going on Shark Tank, or and
right.
Yeah, and then watering stuff down and then being told, well, you better put Xanthan Gum in there.
I'll give you $200,000 for 51% of your company.
Exactly, it's sold.
They always do something like that, and you're like, "What?" Oh, I just noticed you're wearing a Tabasco hat.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I was on eBay.
Do you have any Silk City hats? I know you got T-shirts sometimes.
Hats, I don't have any hats.
I know hats are a little more expensive.
Yeah, this hat I found on eBay, and it's got like the cool like Tabasco logo patch on front and on the back. So yeah, I've got T-shirts. I made like 40 shirts last year, and like I was telling you, I'm trying to get more hoodies made. But my T-shirt guy, who does a phenomenal job, is hard to track down. He's got dreadlocks.
Gotcha.
And that's not typical of Vermont. I know if anyone's listening out there and you're thinking, oh, this guy's in Vermont, he smokes weed, and it's really like laid back up there, and there's guys running around with dreadlocks making T-shirts. That's true,
right?
To an extent. It's also very rural up here, and it's very I don't know. It's not. I don't want to call them trash, but it's very rural.
Sure.
And they're there are progressive.
I think that's
areas.
what people think of Vermont. They think of it as a rural area.
I mean, you're right, very rural, but it's not like 100% progressive or hippie.
Right.
It's just like down to earth farming folks and stuff
gotcha.
Like that.
So for people that, hopefully everybody listening to this likes hot sauce, what is your mildest hot sauce?
The Chipotle.
Okay.
Yeah.
I told you I didn't like hot, so I appreciate. And it's still got it's still a hot sauce. I mean, it's still got a little.
I actually did,
but nothing.
I actually did kick it up a little bit from one of the original test batches. The Chipotle sauce, listeners out there,
Bobby Biggs Chipotle
combines a traditional smoked jalapeno in the adobo sauce. It has that nice, rich, smoky, mild heat flavor.
Right.
I mix fresh pumpkin puree. In addition to that, I use fresh jalapenos as well. And that's what I'm talking about as far as kicking it up a little bit. I thought Chipotle was not only mild and smoky, but I thought it was a little flat. So I added fresh jalapenos just to brighten it up a little bit. So
I've gotten nothing but good reviews about it.
Right on. Cool.
What
I'm glad to hear it. I love it.
So obviously now what's your hottest one?
And then all the way on.
Yeah, the very hottest one you have.
Yeah, people love really hot stuff, and it's hot. It's called the Killer Hot. It's called Killer Hot.
Is that hotter than the Dragon? Or not the Dragon? What's the one that's like it's like yellow?
The Hot Experiment. The new name for the yellow sauce is the Hot Experiment, which is
the one I gave you that I didn't put in the refrigerator.
Oh, the Goddess.
Goddess.
Oh, the yellow sauce. Oh yeah, yellow. Yeah, that yellow sauce because the
Goddess
Experiment yellow too.
So
the Goddess is hot, slightly less hot than the Killer Hot.
Okay, all right. And Killer Hot, that's in one of those whiskey type bottles, like the Bobby Biggs Chipotle, isn't it?
It is. Yeah. It will be. When last time I produced the Goddess sauce, I scored like these long.
Oh yeah.
Almost Coke bottles.
Right. Yeah, that's what I have.
Behind just what do you call it? Behind the scenes, there was like this huge pallet of glass left over from a company that went out of business, and it was like a fire sale on those glasses. So you do what you got to do sometimes for glass bottles, but
the Killer Hot is the hottest.
Killer Hot's the hottest, and it's not stupid hot, but it's hot. It's hard to explain, but I'll try.
Do you do the Scoville units? I think I asked you about
Scoville.
that.
I don't do Scoville. Scoville is a way of figuring out how hot something is by diluting it 10 times, 100 times, 1,000,000 times, and if you could still detect heat if it's been diluted 1,000,000 times.
Do they use a machine to do that?
I don't know, to be honest with you.
Is there some sort of hot sauce sommelier?
Yeah, you have to have a really sensitive
like the coffee.
palate.
You ever see the coffee people that they test the coffee? They take a sip of coffee and then they spit it in a bucket. Is there somebody that does that with hot sauces?
I haven't. I don't honestly. I don't think so.
All right, I'm coming up tomorrow. We'll start doing that.
Yeah, we'll like make a crust on top and break it with those little spoon and slurp it.
After like two things, I'd be like, I can't do this anymore.
I follow that the guy who they named the Scoville heat ranking system after on Instagram. He seems like a really cool guy. Matter of fact, he hit me up one time on Instagram.
Is that his name? Johnny
Scoville. Yeah, that's the dude's name.
Oh wow.
I think, unless the whole thing's a ruse, but I don't know. The guy's been maybe yanking my chain the whole time, but I think it is named after him. He's like really influential in the hot sauce we'll call it community. And he does have products out there that are like the hot sauce bullet, and it's the hottest thing on earth, and it comes in like a bullet, like literally.
Yeah. Just because somebody asked me, they were like, "How many Scoville units?" I remember asking you that, and then I Googled it, and I was just like, and you were like, "Yeah, I don't do that." I know you just put like a thermometer thing on the side that has like mild, medium, hot, very hot, and then
right, and that's the thing,
Which that's all you need.
Like, that's all you need as far as like million Scoville units in those sauces that are like that come with a dropper bottle to dispense the sauce. Wear
gloves and wear a mask while using.
Yeah, and sign your name on the dotted line. Those sauces are like a combination of like traditional pepper sauces with medical grade extracts of cayenne.
That's not even that's not even a sauce because.
And like you said earlier, it's all about like winning heat competition. So that's fun for people. Fine. Yeah. I mean that's cool. I mean I have a bottle of Dave's Insanity in my refrigerator, which every once in a while I'll put like a drop in my pasta sauce just to give it like that heat that I know it has.
Well, like my roommate Paul Otto, he really likes the really hot sauce, the really hot stuff. So.
Oh, right on. Yeah.
Make sure I got to tell them that I'm like, here you, I mean, I just with the name Killer, I think I know I've tried it. And when I say tried it, I've like, dunked the end of my pinky in it and licked it and been like, all right, that's hot enough.
And for all the listeners out there, the dude he just mentioned, Paul Otto, his roommate, is an amazing artist. Go check out his Instagram, Paul Otto Art. Fucking amazing. Bob told me about it and I went and checked it out. And the guy's talented. So
definitely.
Check out Paul Otto's art.
Paul ODDO.
ODDO. And so the Killer Hot combines, just so people know, fresh Vermont-grown ghost peppers, fatali peppers, Fatali. I don't know if they're Italian, but never heard of those. It's a delicious, really hot yellow. They're bright yellow, and they're as hot as a habanero, but just maybe slightly hotter or slightly less so. It's hard to tell when they're
Is the ghost pepper the hottest pepper?
Yeah, the ghost pepper and the Carolina Reaper.
Oh, okay.
Are up there. I mean, if you and I have sliced little wedges of ghost pepper and I've taken little wedges of the Reaper and I've tasted it and they're fucking hot. I mean, is one hotter than the other? Probably, but it's hard to tell.
I guess if you get that hot, it's it all melts together.
It all melts together, and I like the way that feels. To be honest with you, I like the way really hot peppers feel in my body. I like it, when I like it flowing through. I like sweating. I
think it releases endorphins and stuff when the really hot stuff.
Exactly. I like the way that feels.
It can, literally. It makes sense that
good.
people like, some people like that. I mean, it might burn your tongue or whatever, but still yes, there's obviously people that like that feeling. So, I mean, I don't, but I get it. That's other people do.
For sure. And that's the thing with hot sauce. That's why it's the fascination and the hobby of the sauce itself is, for not only to just put heat on your food or smoky heat or, to enhance the flavor, but people are going for that rush. No doubt. There's no doubt you'll get a rush from the Killer Hot, but it's not crippling hot. The Killer Hot, like I said, has that ghost, that has that fatali and habanero. When I combine those peppers with fresh carrots, that apple cider syrup that I was telling you about earlier, that was in my original sauce, that's also in the Killer Hot. So the sauce has a base that's savory and sweet, and on top of that, has like buckets of those fresh ghost and fatali and habanero, and when they're all brought together, it's hot, but you could put the Killer Hot in a cheeseburger and still taste the meat and the cheese and all that stuff, but the heat is there. It's powerful, but it's not stupid hot.
Yeah, I think whenever there's like a eating contest of hots, eat this with this hot sauce on it, and some of those things are done when they're just like, and you get your picture on the wall, and it's like, I want something more than my picture on the wall if I eat these 6 chicken wings that are going to burn through my asshole.
Yeah.
I mean, give me some money, the food should be free and I should get some money for some, and I would not, I mean, I've done one eating contest in my life. Yeah.
Yeah, you
McDonald's eating
did.
contest a few months ago, which is available on YouTube if anybody wants to watch it. But, I would never do like a hot sauce, or eat this extremely hot, spicy thing. I would never do that just because I
Yeah,
can't.
yeah, it's not. I'm not into that either. I mean, that's all over. That's all over. You like half of YouTube is pepper eating contests.
Well, yeah, there's that, what is it called? Hot Ones, that Hot Ones game show where they have like a bunch of comedians have done it, where it's like a interview show while they're eating hot wings. And they just keep, you ever seen that? And they keep going up and up and up. Like Burt Kreischer's done it. I think Tom Segura.
I have seen it. Yeah,
And they turned it into a game show for regular people.
I know it's awesome. All that show is doing wonders.
I think I would do that. I would do that. I would do the game show because I think you can win like 25 grand or something.
Oh, I would do it too.
I would do the game show. I'd probably do the one where it's just comics too, just because that would be it's a popular show. So I would,
We should send them. We should send them a bottle of Bobby Biggs and be like,
yeah, why not?
Be like, let's do it. Let's do it, fellas.
There you go. Well, cool, Jeff. I appreciate you doing this, man. I think it's definitely some interesting information learned about the making of hot sauce, obviously specifically yours.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I hope
SilkCityHotSauce.com.
That's
yeah, man. It was
yeah.
It was my pleasure. I like I said, it's cool getting some insider information from somebody that has their own company and hot sauce, obviously, that I like, and hearing the ins and outs of how you make it and how you got into it and stuff. Very cool. Very informative. And as usual, thanks, folks, everybody. Be sure and go to SilkCityHotSauce.com, and any of your orders, put in code word BIGGS, BIGGS, and you get 15% off your order. And just check out all his different hot sauces, especially the Bobby Biggs Chipotle. But there's, as we discussed, 9-10 others to check out, and they all have the Bob seal of approval. I promise you, even the hot ones. All right, Jeff.
Good night, everybody. Shana Toval, you fellow Levinskis out there.
There you go.
That's right, Happy New Year.
Thanks, buddy. I'll talk to you soon.
Take care, Bob.
All right. Bye. And thanks again for listening to the BobbyBiggerCast. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. We'll be back soon with another one. Be sure and rate the podcast on iTunes. Send me any comments, questions you might have. Anything is appreciated. Go to SilkCityHotSauce.com. Order some Bobby Biggs Chipotle and whatever other hot sauce, 15% off with code BIGGS. Or if you want an autograph bottle, send me a message and I can sell you a personalized autograph bottle of Bobby Biggs Chipotle. Thanks again for listening. You guys are the best. I appreciate it. And take care.